Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another video. This week has so much has happened in the Premier League. I see you guys commenting on your favorite Jamaican Premier League team. As I said to you, that mine is Arnett Garden. So we're gonna start doing some content on Jamaica and the local Premier League soon. Gonna start putting out content on the local Premier League. I'm very intrigued to see what's gonna happen with Chapelton Maroon. You know, Craig Butler and his team was at Vere and they got regulated. Now they took over Chapelton. I want to see how that's gonna, manifest or materialize and see, what's gonna happen with that. So far, so good for them. I think it's 2 games, 2 wins. So let's see what's gonna happen with that. As I said, we're thinking about start to put out some content about the Jamaica Premier League. But for now, we're gonna stick to the English Premier League and let's get straight into it with the English Premier League. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and everybody wanna know, tell everybody to subscribe. Okay? Now we're gonna kick off with the first game that we're gonna start with is my team, Manchester United against Burnley. Now that game I predicted that game to have a 1-1 draw. Right? I predicted that game to have a 1-1 draw, and it almost was a draw, but it was almost a 2-2 draw until the dying moments. Bruno Fernandes scored a penalty. Now, I mean, there's a lot can be said about Manchester United right now, a whole lot. Like, in terms of what's happening with the team and the poor performance, consistent poor performance, and a lot of pressure has been mounted on to the coach and his style of play and his formation, and he's too rigid. And we can get into all of that and can break that down. I can give my opinion. I think that probably would be a separate video as to what I think is the issue with Manchester United and how to go about probably what should be done to fix that issue. But for now, we're gonna talk about the game against Burnley. That game against Burnley. All right, so it was a 3-2 win for Manchester United. Manchester made that game way more harder than that game should be. Manchester United made that game way more harder than it should have been. I think we should have put that game to bed from the first half. We got so many chances that we should have scored from the first half. I think we started off really good, but then Burnley will allow Burnley to come back in the game in the second half. And as usual, once you apply any pressure to Manchester United, they're gonna break. They're gonna concede. In football, it doesn't matter how good of a team you are. At some point in time, you have to soak up a bit of pressure. Yeah, your defenders and your midfielders would have to soak up a bit of pressure to keep you in a game. Manchester United on the other hand, once you start pressuring Manchester United, they're gonna break and they're gonna concede. And so said, so done. They conceded, and allowed Burnley to grow in the game and get back in the game. I think the second goal for Burnley was some real slightness of Manchester United were under no pressure. It was a goal kick pass off from back. Casemiro was in so much space. Passed that ball to Lenny Euro, he was in so much space. He was aware that that pass was gonna come to him. It's a pattern of play of passing out from back, so he was aware, that went over throw, stupid throw to concede, and then from that throw we concede a second goal. Alright, but I think it was good for Mbeumo to get his first Premier League goal for Manchester United. That's really good. Big up to Mbeumo and that goal. But I think deservedly Manchester United, based on when you look at the amount of shots and the goal opportunities that were created, deservedly Manchester United deserved to win that game. For me, not being biased, was a good try from Burnley, but I guess Manchester United came out victorious. For me, I think we should have gotten another penalty. That tackle from Walker and Mount probably could have been another game in another day. That probably would have been a penalty as well. But I'm sensing that we have some goal scoring issues. We're creating chances, good chances in all 3 games that we have played, especially in the first half of all 3 games, where we could have scored like easily 2 goals. Easily. And for Burnley game, easily we should have been 3-0 up, from the first half. But again, it's Manchester United, and as I said, we're going through what we're going through. So we'll take the 3 points. Positivity, we take the 3 points. I know that, yes, that doesn't mean that we're gonna beat City now and we're gonna go on this win run, but for now, we take that 3 points. Valuable 3 points, and we'll take it.
Let's cover Fulham versus Chelsea, my team. This game I expected a lot from Chelsea. overall. I was looking for a well in dominant performance, but Fulham really play well in this one. Fulham really um, press Chelsea and deny them space, especially in the midfield. Enzo Fernandez looked a bit toothless as well. I was so deep in disappointment in his performance, but Fulham first goal, um, where they score in the first half, VAR and the referee um, took that one away from them, but that goal was to stand because that was never a foul on Chalobah. That was just foot to foot collide. I go to the monitor and and take back the goal. I was happy as a Chelsea fans, but disappointed as a football fans overall, because if that call go against my team, I would be really upset overall. But that was a really poor decision on the ref and VAR. The second half, Chelsea looked a bit more flowing overall, but Enzo was really poor. You have a few players overall that look really poor. Dilat injury in the first half, so they were playing without a striker. They got the first goal in the first half, but second half, Chelsea got a penalty where the Fulham player angled the ball in the box. That was a stone dead penalty for me. Um, they were saying Joe Pedro angled the ball before, but that call couldn't go against Joe Pedro because too close he was to the ball when the ball hit his hand. So that one was a penalty for me. But in this game, the referee was poor overall. I I was wondering if the referee was a Chelsea fan in this one, but Chelsea got 3 points, but overall Fulham really played good. Chelsea need to do some more work on the training ground. So Fulham is going in the right direction for me. But this was a good game, but poor refereeing in this one for me.
So now for the big game of the weekend, Liverpool versus Arsenal. And of course, after a neutral, I just wanted to see an exciting game from both Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't think the game was that fun, you know. I wanted to see a 2-2 draw, you know, something like that, you know. And I mean, if I must pick a winner that I would want it to win that game, it would be Arsenal. I mean, of course, Liverpool is our rival, of course. Liverpool is a rival, so of course I'll definitely, if I should pick a winner, then it would be Arsenal. But then Arsenal fans would not shut up if they had won that game. Jesus, you know, they'll probably act like they already won the league by beating Liverpool at Liverpool. But I mean, about the game now, about the game, I think, you know, it was a hard fought game for both teams. It wasn't easy, it wasn't a walk in the park for none of the teams. I think both managers knew how each team played, and they did show a lot of respect to each, you know, especially Arsenal. I think they weren't naive about it. Yeah, they want to win the Premier League, but it's at Anfield. How many teams actually go to Anfield and actually beat Liverpool at Anfield? And, you know, Arteta was mindful of that, and it showed a lot of respect to Liverpool. It was a bit cagey, especially the first half, a lot of space. But I mean, we're talking about quality players go up against quality players. It was gonna be a battle, you know, some hard tackles, you know, not a lot of space to pass the ball, not a lot of shots on goal, closing down the spaces quick and fast, and all of those things. You see a lot of that happening. I think probably the first half, the best chance Liverpool probably got was that, you know, Van Dijk pressing and Raya with a pass from back arrow. I think that probably was probably the best chance of Liverpool scoring. They didn't capitalize on that in the first half, but in the second half, I think Liverpool took more control of the game and, you know, were trying to attack. But Arsenal, best thing about Arsenal is the defense, and they stood up. Kudos to that new signing that they're bringing. The young centre back, he didn't even realize that Saliba wasn't in. He came in, he slotted right in, and he performed really well. Timber, Calafiori, along with Gabriel, I think they performed really well. Declan Rice did a lot of running in the midfield, helping out Zubomendi defensively. Yeah, so it was a good performance, you know, that defensive way from Arsenal, that defensive way defending against Liverpool attack. I think the best thing about Liverpool is the attack. you know, and they score a lot of goals even though they can't stop goals from scoring on them. I think it's a first clean sheet for them this campaign so far. Every other team score on them. They give up goals even though they score a lot of goals, but to Arsenal make that real difficult for them for scoring today. But in games like this, when it's cagey and stuff, and you know, you need one of the players to step up and do something big, and that's exactly what happened. You know, not every game, every team is gonna dominate or just walk over. You know, Liverpool playing at home, playing against a good Arsenal team, which is really good. The defenders are really good, and Sabazli step up and score a worldly. It was a beautiful free kick, deservedly to win a game. So you know, we're just gonna say Liverpool, I think they did enough to win the game. So Bosley had a really good game. I was saying to my Liverpool friend that, you know, you guys didn't have to spend any money and buy a right back. I think you guys had a right back all along in Bosley, but he played really well and scored a lovely free kick, as I said, which deservedly to win a game. So, you know, good job for Liverpool. I mean, showing, you know, championship behavior, you know, even in a tough game, they didn't get a lot of space, and attackers didn't get a lot of space to attack the goal and score goals, and you know, kick a lot of shots off the goal. You know, Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike, you know, Verts, they didn't get a lot of chances or opportunities to score as they want to, but you know, they stuck in the game. They defended well as well. You know, Liverpool defended really well as well. You know, Van Dijk, you know, did well. You know, they put in a lot of work, and you know, I think that free kick is, you know, the big thing about the game, or the best thing about the game, and I say deserve to win that game. So big up to Liverpool, but I still have Arsenal to win the league. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course I want to say Manchester United, but I can't. So I still have Arsenal to win the league. But I mean, Liverpool has won the league before. They know how to win the league, and they were surprised if they win again. And you know, they now sign Isak. That's a here we go now. So I mean, a lot of persons gonna have Liverpool as the favourites, but big up to Liverpool. I mean, the only thing with Arsenal, I still think this year is definitely the year. If not this year, then when?
Game week review for Man City versus Brighton. This game was going to be a really tricky one, and in this one, it really showed that Brighton is a really good team. They win this one 2-1 over City. Man City look really flat throughout this game. I think that Man City needed a midfielder who can really create for Erling Haaland and Mamouche as well. They would have really did really well with Turkey or Phil Foden in this one. I really think that Bernardo Silva, he really lacked that creative spark in this Man City team. So Man City score in the 30th minutes in this one, where Mamouche created that goal for Erling Haaland, and Erling Haaland did really well to slot that one home. But the game was really flat for Man City. Like, they just stuck in one gear throughout this one. Even the second half, where you expect Man City to really lift the tempo of the game, it's just flat. Brighton game was flat as well. Brighton really good changes, and the tempo lift from them. They start to play some really good stuff after that, and they really put Man City under some pressure, and they won a penalty. So kudos to the Brighton coach. He see what his side was lacking, and he really makes some really good one there. Man City just couldn't get out of that first gear. They just stuck. They look clueless. The changes didn't affect the game for Man City. When you really look at Man City bench, you have to scratch your head, because there was no one on it to bring on to really change the game for them. But Brighton really did a good job in this one to get the victory over Man City. So Pep really has some work to do with his Manchester City side. So let's see how they will do in the next game coming up. But Brighton really look well. Brighton deserve this win, and Brighton institution really win this one for them. So kudos to the coach.
Tottenham versus Bournemouth. Tottenham what happened? You know, went out last week so good against Man City, played so well. You know, they did the thing, and then come back against Bournemouth. Bournemouth had so many chances in this game. Zakaria made, I guess that's the pronunciation. Don't kill me if I get the pronunciation right. All right, good. But yeah, the goalkeeper for Tottenham made so many saves, some good saves. But as I always say, and all our videos so far are saying that I have a lot of time for Bournemouth players in Bournemouth team. I think they have quite a few players. You know, and that new wing back that they bring in to replace Kirkers, good job. You know, I think he's doing really good. And the number 7 that plays in midfield, I think, you know, he's showing up. He's doing some stuff, and of course Semenyo, Tyler Adams. You know, they have a team that is gonna be a problem in this Premier League this season. You know, they're gonna take a few points off a few of those big teams. I'm guessing Bournemouth is showing certain sort of ambition to, you know, to move up the table and not just be a mere mid-table team. You get me? But Tottenham, against Tottenham, just being Tottenham. You know, come out this week, play really good against Man City, and then just, you know, and I'm not even sure what happened right there. I'm just gonna give, you know, Bournemouth the credit. Too often, like when smaller teams beat big teams, it's always the big team we always need to say this and that about. But sometimes we can give the smaller teams the credit. So I'm just gonna give Bournemouth the credit. They played really, really well. They came out and they, you know, almost played Tottenham off the park. That scoreline is not a true reflection of the game. I think Bournemouth should have won that game by more goals. So let's big up to Bournemouth. Tottenham, I guess they'll bounce back and come back again. They, of course, you know, Thomas Frank, new coach, they're gonna win a few more games. Of course, they're gonna lose games, but you know, as I said, I'm gonna give Bournemouth the credit. I had Tottenham to win this game, but Bournemouth came out and they did what they're supposed to do. Yeah, you get me. Wolves versus Everton. I had Everton to win this one. I don't remember what I said. It was 2-1, but Everton won 3-2. I know that Wolves was gonna score, but I expected Everton to get it over the line. Jack Grealish, I think he had 2 assists in this game. Way to go, Jack Grealish. City that Wellington. All right, I didn't say that, but it seems that way though. It seems that way. It seems that way, but. You know, he had 2 assists. You know, good game from Jack Grealish. As I said, I expected Everton to win that game. Wolves, I think there needs to be some more business in this transfer window for Wolves if they really want to stay in this Premier League this season. I think they need to be doing some more business this season. They lose the best player to big bad Manchester United, but I think, and they have that money to spend, so I think they probably need to do a few more business to, if they want to stay in this Premier League. They need to start. You know, especially in that defensive area, I think they're too easy to penetrate. They give goals real easily, so I think, you know, Wolves need to work on that. But yeah, I expected Everton to win. Now for another surprise of this weekend, Sunderland beating Brentford. I had Brentford to win this one, but Sunderland is saying that we are here to stay. That's what Sunderland is saying. Sunderland is saying that they are here to stay. And I can, if you guys can remember, I think I had Sunderland as one of the teams that will stay up this season. Sunderland might stay up this season. They're saying that they want to stay up. They're saying that they want to be in the Premier League. And they have Premier League experience player. The captain, Xhaka, have Premier League experience. Who left Arsenal, went to Bayern Leverkusen, won the league, and now is back in the Premier League with Sunderland. And, you know, they're showing intention. Of course, Brentford lose a few players. But, you know, I think they also deserve something from this game. I think Brentford did deserve something from this game. It could have been a 2-2 draw. It could have been a 2-2 draw. I think also Sunderland benefited from a kind of a you know, is that a penalty? If not a penalty, you know, one of them things we see every day and every weekend in the Premier League. Somebody holding on to somebody when there's a corner kick. So it could be given, could not be given. So Sunderland benefited from that. But yeah, I mean, big up to Sunderland as well. As I say, I always feel like the smaller teams not supposed to win, and when the bigger teams lose, it's always them not playing good. It's never the smaller teams playing good, right? So let's give the smaller teams some credit. Sunderland did what they have to do. They're showing intention. I predicted them as one of the teams to stay up. So definitely good job from Sunderland.
is Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. The unmovable force. These guys are really compact when it comes on to it's just hard to break them down. Aston Villa is in big problem this season so far because they just don't look like they're ready for this season, and Emery will have to pull something out of the hat to drag them out of this poor run. But this Villa side look like a relegation side so far, and I don't know what will happen to them and Emery if Emery lose 2 more games. I really think they will sack him. But Crystal Palace have a good side. Crystal Palace is a dangerous side. I can see in this one, they really suffocate Aston Villa. Aston Villa just don't know what to do with the ball. They just look sluggish, slow overall. They lack idea. This is not the Emery side we see last season playing. So Emery have some work to do, but Crystal Palace is on the right track. They will cause a lot of team problem this season. So this was a really good win for Crystal Palace. West Ham versus Forest. Forest look really good this season so far, but West Ham on the other hand was really struggling to get results in the Prem. Potter was under some pressure to deliver this game week, and they did in this one, but they leave it really late to grab all 3 points in this one. They win 3-0 over Forest. As we know, Forest is a much dangerous side without the ball. If you give them most of the ball, they will maybe lack a bit of creativity to really break you down overall. But in this one, West Ham really comes out to play. They really improve overall. In this one, they look like a Graham Potter side. They look hungry for this one. They come out to really give it to Forest, and Forest just couldn't get a goal in the first half or the second half. So as I said, West Ham really score really late in this one, in the 80th minutes, in the 90 minutes, and they really knock out Forest in this one. They just couldn't come back from this, from the first goal. They just couldn't come back from a good win for West Ham in this one.
So let us know what you guys think, if you agree with, some of the stuff that we have said. Of course, Manchester United, there's a whole lot going on. I'm gonna make a video about that and what I think is the problem with Manchester United, and what I think should be done differently, and what can be done differently. A lot is saying about the coach and the style of play and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna make a video about that and talk about that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about our review. If you agree with what we're saying, and let's hear what you guys, which team is your team that you have to win the Premier League. Comment in the comment section. Let us know which team that you guys have for winning the Premier League this season, and also tell us the top 4. Who you think gonna make it into the top 4? Of course, you know for sure, Chelsea fans is gonna have a lot to say because they think the team is Premier League contenders this season. So let's hear from you guys. You hear me? Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next weekend again. Out.